Sorry about that, everybody. We're going to get started because we're about 3 minutes after the hour. I don't want to wait too much longer for people to join. So thank you so much for joining us today and for our topic of unlocking customer loyalty and the power of strategic initiatives. We're joined not only by Voucherify, but also our good partners, Braze and Notable, to talk about some of their experiences as well as their ways they've helped their clients, and hopefully it's very valuable to you today. So for some housekeeping items, we'll talk about what the agenda is for the folks on the line today. We'll introduce you to the panelists and what we do and where our expertise lies. We'll talk about the challenges with loyalty as it stands today. It's a topic that has been changing over the years, and we'll try to put some current flavor on it. We'll talk about success stories from all of our perspectives, but you'll see some common themes in those success stories. We're going to be talking a little bit about how we have all helped our clients achieve results, right? And so that's what we're all after, is more engagement, and we'll get into that. And then we'll hopefully be able to answer all of your questions at the end. So if that's a good plan, we'll move on to the intros. And we'll start with Frankie. Frankie, go ahead.
Hey everyone, Frankie here from Braze. I am a senior solutions consultant. So pretty much I used to look after EMEA markets from a pre-sales perspective, but now I've just moved over to the stateside. So I'm based out of the East Coast. Braze, just by way of intro, is a leading customer engagement platform where our main remit is to be able to connect brands with their customers in order to create those memorable experiences.
Thanks, Frankie. Federico?
I can go, yes. I'm Federico. I'm the Senior Solutions Architect at Notable. For those of you who are not familiar with Notable, we are a consultancy agency that specializes in marketing. We're very good partners with Braze and Voucherify, and we help our clients both migrate and use the platforms better to achieve better results with their customers and get more engagement, better campaigns, better results, more return of investment for your buck.
Thank you. Cassian?
Yeah, so my name is Cassian. I'm from Voucherify. So I'm a customer integration manager and I help our customers to integrate with Voucherify and what we bring to the table. With Voucherify, you can incentivize different kinds of promotions to your customers, allow your customer base to grow by encouraging customers for specific behavior using the mechanisms that we provide. So back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Cassian. And I'm Chris Neff. I'm an enterprise account executive at Voucherify. I am actually the first U.S. Employee for Voucherify, and it's been an exciting year, which is how long I've been here. And I'm really happy to be here with our partners and some of the fine companies I see out there that are joining us today. So thanks a lot. So Frankie's going to jump into some of the challenges that he's encountered out there as far as building loyalty programs today, and basically to drive the results you want, which is better customer engagement, better customer loyalty from a brand perspective. So go ahead, Frankie.
Cool, thanks, Chris. And yeah, that's exactly right. You know, loyalty programs, they typically consist, effective loyalty strategies are really around the ability to knowing your customer and having that effective execution strategy, right? Delivering those rewards, promotions, and really speaking to your loyal customers. But there are existing challenges, even in 2023, just really around the fact that not all tools out there provide the same level of automation and efficiencies, which really just lead to this poor customer experience. We'll go into some examples in just a minute. And really, agility is key, right? The quicker you get your data from all your different ecosystem partners, we've got Voucherify, we've got, CDPs and the like. As long as we have this effective communication going on very, very quickly, that really allows us to be able to then build on those, knowing that customer, are they a high value customer or low value customer, and really tailor your messaging based off of that. And typically we also see a lot of spray and pray approaches, right? Sending the same message across different verticals, different segments. Even, how many times have you seen, or received actually an abandoned cart coupon after you've already made that final purchase? And so that is really a combination of pretty much lack of tools just talking together effectively, and a lot of if we go into the next slide now, we can see a lot of this play out even today, right? So a lot of these poor customer experiences based on whether they are not able to even template first name last names, just having really out of touch messaging as well. And in fact, if you look at the bottom right, it's pretty ironic that I actually received that message today, which was from my own credit card telling me that the freedom points that were supposedly expiring are not expiring anymore. So, that's a very nice message to send to a loyal customer that I've been there for, more than 10 years. So, there's a lot of challenges out there already in the ecosystem. And, I'll pass it over to Federico now, on his perspective as well on how and where this all this actually is coming from.
Thanks, Frankie. So yes, very much like Frankie was asking and telling you guys, quality of customer data is probably the most key feature on your marketing campaigns. You might have heard about 360-degree customer data. It's a term that is being kicked around on the MarTech stacks lately. It basically means that we're out of that old thinking of just focusing on one point of data to address a customer, right? It's not just your purchase. It's not just your visit to the website. It's everything, right? It's your transactional data. It's how you behave on your app, on your web, where you're located. How did you get to the app? How did you get to the website, right? All of that information provides a much better perspective and picture of how the customer is behaving. And tools like CDPs, for instance, provide a very good single source of truth about your customers by being able to collect first and zero-party data, which are other two terms that have been kicked around for a while. Many people use it like interchangeably, but the difference is basically that zero-party data is what the customer provides on its own, and first-party data is what we collect from them without them explicitly providing it. So some of these issues that we've seen with multiple clients, right, is like they don't have quality data, so their campaigns are not successful. They have multiple sources that are providing different source of information on the same type of attributes for your customers, create some confusion, and then in turn get campaigns like Frankie just demonstrated with the credit card, right? Which receive an apology. It's like, oh, sorry, we sent you the wrong email. But with that, there's also issues with software integration, right? We have so many platforms right now in the MarTech environment that we can choose from, such as Voucherify, Braze, and multiple others. And the thing is that in the past, companies used to offer what it was called like a monolith or a prepackaged solution, right? These softwares are packaged to work on their own and not with anyone else. Now, the problem with that is that they're limited in adaptability, right? Because you may have your CDP, you may have your analytics, you may have your email platform, and they're not all in the same platform. And you may need to bring information, as we said, for the 360 customer data from different sources. And for that, API-first solutions are the ones that just, again, like Voucherify and Braze, that are providing more flexibility, more adaptability, and let you access that information in a much, much agile and better way. Chris, I think that you can elaborate a little bit more on this, since Voucherify, I believe, is part of the Mac Alliance.
Absolutely. Thanks, Federico. I appreciate that. Good backdrop there to talk about. I think the way I'll sort of break this screen down, folks, is rather than go through all of the different boxes to sort of describe what Mock means for everybody, MOC, the M stands for microservices. So if you look at this screen, you'll notice it's not one package that does CRM, loyalty, incentives, orders, personalization, and communication, then hits the data layer. You'll see different discrete functionalities that are available to the API and to the front end that all integrate with the back end, right? So MOC is M is microservices, A is API first. Anything you can expose as an API is better from our perspective. So A is for API, C is for cloud native. All of these microservices and APIs are designed and built on the cloud to be run on the cloud. So 100% cloud native. And also the last one is headless, which if you look at the top, the front end's a different color than everything. It's because these APIs do not profess to provide a front end for your customers. They say, you know it better how to expose your brand to your customers, right? All we want to do is provide you the data, the processes, the information that you need in real time, or in future historical fashions, the data you need to run your business. And that, from our perspective, is the composable commerce way of life. You can plug in any one of our partners in there, CDP, Segment IO. The communications layer could be Braze. In order to put this all together could be Notable, but it's all like sort of interchangeable, if you will. It's not like one size fits all from one vendor. So why is this the right way? We can say it because that's what we've sort of lopped onto, and we've agreed to, and we've built our companies on to help companies in this fashion. But if you look and adopt or believe what Gartner says, right, is basically, monolithic applications are a thing of the past. You need to start thinking about this way of building your systems and supporting your clients. And in order to do that, this is the main drivers. People have lots of reasons to implement composable architecture, which is growing and growing. There's more and more people adopting it. But the top two are, they need to improve the way their customers experience their multiple brands and multiple touch points. They need to be able to respond to market changes faster. Can you imagine having a monolithic system having to figure out how to do curbside pickup while COVID was going on? It's just a fact of life. Things and dynamics and market drivers change on a daily basis. So look, we have to be able to be adaptable in the composable commerce way of life, and the ones that are adapting it or adopting it as a way to help their clients, that much better, because it's only growing to help your customers. So right now, Federico is going to discuss what they've done to help a leading QSR brand achieve results through the partnerships that we're talking about, and what they did. And then we'll pretty much get mostly from this point forward talking about how customers have achieved some degree of results. All right, so Federico, take it from here, pal.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chris. So for this specific brand that we were dealing with, they had a specific situation where one of their items, a sandwich, was completely sold out in all of their locations. There was a lot of talk about it, and it went viral everywhere. And their main concern was they were going to lose buzz if they didn't do something, if they didn't create a campaign, if they didn't create a way to engage with their customers and keep them into that viral moment, keep them into that buzz, right? And the thing is that if they had to build this solution that they needed from the very scratch, it would have taken way too long. They would have lost their window, and they would have not seized the opportunity of getting all of these clients and all of these customers back into the purchasing cart. So that's where Voucherify and Braze help them tremendously by creating targeted coupons and targeting campaigns that provided each user the right discount that they needed for the product that they were buying the most, specifically the sandwich. And with Voucherify, they were able to offer coupons to very specific, very targeted users that were very engaged with that specific promotion. And with Braze, they were able to experiment on many types of messaging, sometimes changing the headers, changing one or two words within the campaign, and testing which message got the most engagement, the most clicks, the most purchases. And in this way, they increased their sales by 42%. They were ready to go in no time. And they achieved a really great return on their investment, really, because they were able to seize all that crowd and keep the buzz going and keep their users active, right? So as we see here, they were able to increase even their active users by over 200%.
Cool. And I'll talk about Pomelo. They are one of the largest Southeast Asian direct-to-customer fashion retailers, mainly focusing on women's fashion. And they were really one of the early ones in that industry vertical to take strides in digital transformation, specifically around the marketing efforts. And one of the problems that they had was really around looking and really creating that personalized promotion strategy for their refer a friend and partnership rewards programs. And if you imagine the size of Pomelo, right, they just didn't have the time or the resources to be able to really successfully implement this, especially as they had really disparate teams across regions, markets, and departments. Some looking after end user messaging, data analytics, reward programs, so on and so forth. But what they did do was they invested in a best of breed stack of software where, Branch was there, Segment was there, right? And of course, Voucherify and Braze as well as part of in that ecosystem. And so the strategy around that was to use Voucherify's specialism within the personalized incentives, reward system space, right? And Braze's orchestration and delivery mechanism to send the right offer to the right person across audience segments at scale. And so, at Voucherify, along with coupons, Voucherify also powered the Refer a Friend program, offering these personalized rewards to both advocates and their invited connections. And with this series of campaigns and promotions, the results ultimately were pretty incredible. They gained 13,000 net new customers. There was a 50% referral program open rates across their campaigns. And pretty much what really mattered most was those conversions and those purchases, right? So that there was a 300% uplift in that. So, as we kind of go towards the next section, just wanted to kind of hand it over back to Cassian and Chris really to start to discuss how we're actually doing all of that from a Voucherify standpoint, and then we'll move on to the Braze standpoint as well.
Yep. So Cassian, Frankie, can you give us a little flavor of how Pomelo and this QSR brand were able to achieve these results? Can you give us a little bit of background on these use cases from a technical perspective?
Yeah, sure. I believe that I will start with providing some details about the integration with Voucherify and what might be important for you as marketers, as your brands. So first of all, Voucherify, as it was mentioned before, is API based that brings a lot of benefits. First of all, you don't have to think about the technicalities at the start. You are in charge of the customer experience. You need to define how you want to incentivize your customers. You define how you want your customers to engage with your platform, to engage with your brand. So this is all on you. Now, when you have that customer experience design, once you exactly know how you want the customers to engage with your platforms, then your development team using Voucherify and maybe some other third-party tools, they can integrate Voucherify to your systems accordingly to your design, to your to your imagination. So when we are thinking about introducing Voucherify, then you can use the complete all of the functionalities of Voucherify in that way, including the discount coupon codes that were mentioned before, the loyalty campaigns with the complete design of how your customers are going to earn those points, what will be how much each point is going to worth, how your customers can exchange those points, and your development team with the API integration will decide where it makes sense to introduce Voucherify in that process to keep your customers engaged. And we can go this doesn't have to be only integrated with your e-commerce platform, since any kind of platform that understands REST API can be introduced to Voucherify, including, for example, CDPs that will feed the data to Voucherify, and Voucherify will react to the data that is going into our database. You can introduce Voucherify not only to your e-commerce platform, but, for example, to the POS to keep the experience with your brand on all of the channels that you are reaching out to your customers. If you want to introduce Voucherify to your mobile application, it is also possible, and all of the different discounts, all of the different actions your customers are making can be integrated in that specific way. And when thinking about that customer experience, thinking about what you exactly can do with Voucherify and how you can personalize your incentives, then Voucherify allows you to exactly define what action the customer should make to receive, for example, that specific amount of points. So you can introduce some gamification mechanisms in that way to keep your customers engaged. You can decide that if a customer is making an outstanding purchase, then this will give the customer automatically a specific reward that they can use with their next purchase, keeping the customers engaged again and again. And if you want your customer base to grow and you want to allow your customers to introduce their friends and family, then it's also possible with Voucherify, and all of that can be personalized to those customers that probably should interact with your campaigns, with your brand more. As I mentioned before, for example, you can create a campaign that will target only customers who were not engaged in the past for some time, and Voucherify will automatically create something for them to keep them engaged in the future. Now, in terms of all of those different combinations that you can use with Voucherify, incentivized based on the customer's profile, incentivized or based on what the customer is buying. There might be some customers which might want to play with the system, try to gain something more than they should at the start, and that's why Voucherify introduces a lot of fraud prevention mechanisms that allow you to keep your budget in control, saying that, for example, with this campaign, you can only give your customers a specific number of redemptions, or you can say that a campaign will end when the budget will be used. But it can also maintain that, or you can also introduce the threat prevention mechanisms to allow a single customer to only redeem a coupon code from a campaign once, not allowing that customer to, for example, redeem multiple coupon codes. So someone will not be able to get a discount more times than you initially anticipated. If you want to keep your campaigns even more safe, then also the Voucherify allows to introduce an approval workflow where a person from your team, a marketing team member, designs a new flow or updates an existing flow, but someone will have to approve it before it goes live. So you always have everything in line, and you don't have to think about, or may not think about, but but you can feel that your campaigns are safe and they are going according to your design. And all of those different conditions, all of those different incentives, and all of the gamification mechanisms that Voucherify provides will have to be somehow communicated to the customer so that they will know what are the rules and what they can expect from that specific campaign. So I will give my voice back to Franklin, who can provide more details about this aspect of communication with customers.
Cool. So really, Braze has bread and butter is to utilize all that data to intelligently orchestrate and deliver these messages, right? And how we do that is through various ways, really around Liquid and Canvas. Our first starting point is to bring in all the personalized attributes and information that you're sending into Braze, whether that is coming from Voucherify, from CDPs, right? We are able to template those accordingly in order to create those, really meaningful and relevant experiences for our customers. Liquid is actually how non-technical marketers are able to even utilize sophisticated features such as connected content that Kassian is going to talk about shortly. And that is actually one of the ways that Voucherify integrates with Braze as well. As we know who the customer is, we can pull in all the relevant information also from the user profile, right? So all this customer attribute, customer event information that is coming into Braze, that really defines how we are going to be triggering these messages. Maybe they have signed up for specific offers on the website, and so that just puts them into a specific distribution list or a specific, preference for users to receive specific promotions or vouchers, right? And then ultimately, the delivery mechanism, we have a swath of pretty much intelligent machine learning features in order for us to send the right message at the right time to each user, right? So if I'm a person that looks to engage with my brands in the morning, then using the intelligent timing feature that we have, the message that I'm going to be receiving is going to be in the morning, because we have deduced that this is where I'm most likely going to be opening and engaging with the brand. Whereas, maybe Federico, he's an afternoon person, he'll receive all his push notifications orchestrated through Braze in the afternoon, because that is his profile, right? And so the whole point of here is that, we're able to accurately segment and get all that information from, our loyalty partners such as Voucherify, and then utilize and embed those reward programs as part of the the delivery mechanism at Braze.
So what is the end result of all of that? So first of all, we have to think about what the customer is going to receive, what kind of message we want to send to the customer. And you can try to engage with the customer, send him some information during different times of day, like it was mentioned before, but also based on some other conditions. You can see here a couple of examples where what your customers can retrieve, or what kind of information your customers will see. If there is a specific anniversary, the customer has his birthday today, the customer is engaging with your platform for a specific amount of time, he is subscribed to your service for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. This is an event to celebrate. So the best way to celebrate, or one of the best ways to celebrate, is to give that customer something to engage him with even more, to allow that customer, or to encourage customer to stay with the brand. So for a happy anniversary, Braze can send out a message to Voucherify first, asking for a coupon code, because there is a special someone who should receive that coupon code that should give him a specific amount off, or a gift voucher that he can use whenever he wants. So this is what Voucherify can provide. And with Braze can also specify what are the rules when this coupon code can be used. There are also some other things that can be done, like if your customers are if you want to introduce that referral campaign, the referrals, a customer might forget that he has that referral code, or he might forget that there is an expiration date to that referral code, and we want to engage him more. We want him to create that that Instagram story, to create that message on Facebook to each other, to send out that coupon code to their customers via WhatsApp. So you can send out a message informing the customer that the time is running out, and this also can be connected with Voucherify's and Braze features. And once the customer makes a specific action that should grant the customer some points that he can redeem, then he also needs to know how many points he has, what he can do right now. So we need to send him a call to action after he received those points. So it's all connected. It's something that can be connected with Voucherify and with Braze, where when a customer receives some points, we can send them over to the customer. We can send over a call to action to the customer via Braze. So all of that is possible with the integration. And you can see from those three examples that the trigger might be different for different cases, and that's why we have a flexible. Voucherify is connected to Braze in a couple of ways that gives you the flexibility to choose the right way for the right job. So, Chris, can you please? Yeah, thank you. So there is an option to use connected content to directly pull rewards and pull incentives from Voucherify to Braze. So whenever Braze starts a new campaign, and whenever Braze decides that a customer should receive a discount coupon code or a specific message, then Braze will ask Voucherify to generate a coupon code directly from the connected content. And it can be even more complex due to the flexibility of connected content to the liquid language. And we have we already prepared a set of different templates that you can use to try out what Voucherify can do in this specific case. There might be a situation where a customer receives some points, and Voucherify is the place where the points are being calculated. So if you want to send out the information the customer received some points, you want to create that call to action that was mentioned before just a couple of minutes ago, then Voucherify has a direct integration to custom attributes, where whenever there is a change in the customer profile, whenever Voucherify finds out that the customer should receive a message, we can push some of the information directly to Braze, and in Braze, Braze will transfer that information to the customer in a neat and fancy way. There are some other things that might be useful in the case. So the codes that are created in Voucherify can be uploaded to Braze to be sent out whenever they are needed. So the information about the codes can be on that stored within Braze. And if that's not enough, if you feel that you need something more, that there should be an additional logic before sending out a coupon code to a customer, and then you can use the API integration both from Braze and both from Voucherify to create the experience that you want to create the experience that you want. So I believe this is it for this part, and I'm going to give my voice back to Chris.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. That was excellent. And where I'd like to lead it right now is, I know this was high level and discusses a lot of very complex topics. So if there's any questions, you can ask directly in the chat feature within the webinar, or you can just get unmuted. Julia, I hope folks are unmuted if they just want to ask the question. We have one question. How does customer data synchronization work between Braze and Voucherify? I think that's a good one to start with, Cassian, and I think Frankie can take over if he sees a gap there.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So regarding the synchronization of data between different systems, there might be different ways how to synchronize the data with Voucherify, and there can be different reasons why you want to synchronize the data. So whenever there is a change in data in Voucherify that should trigger a send out to Braze, then we can send out a custom attribute directly to Braze informing that there should be, for example, a send out made. There is also a way to synchronize the segments directly from Braze to Voucherify. So there's also a possibility to make that kind of integration, and this allows to create segments, to recreate those segments within Voucherify, add some additional logic in Voucherify, and send out coupon codes to customers who meet those different conditions. So it is possible in that specific way. There might be other purposes where that integration, the data synchronization might be useful, since when there is a change in data in Braze, you might want to share it with Voucherify via CDP or via any other tool, or maybe directly, to also have that information, that kind of update within Voucherify, to create a campaign that can only be redeemed to create a campaign that where the vouchers from or can only be redeemed by customers who meet that specific criteria, and recreating that customer profile in Voucherify might be the best way to further incentivize the usage of the coupon codes, the redemptions of the coupon codes. There might be some other cases, but for now I will give my voice to Frankie. Maybe you want to add something to what I said.
Yeah, no, that encompasses pretty much everything really. One thing I will also point out is that, as Cassian was mentioning, right, changes can be happening in this dynamic sort of, ecosystem where, mobile app users, web app users, and so even when a user, your customer, is actually going down a journey, perhaps of an onboarding series, what we can do is, through the use of connected content, actually pull out at the right moment when the message is about to be delivered, pretty much the real time, what is actually happening in Voucherify at that send time, up-to-date information about the reward program or the loyalty program, whatever it is, and then we can embed that as part of the messaging itself. So that would be and that's actually a popular way of actually making sure that the offers and everything they're sending out, ultimately the final mile delivery, is going to be up to date. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Frankie, and thanks, Cassian. Do we have any other questions out there? I'm sorry about the screen going crazy. I was looking at the chat, then the QA screen, and want to make sure that nobody had anything out there they wanted to hear some comments on. We can also take a question over the phone. Okay. All right. So if we don't have any questions, we'll just go to the thank you screen, and thank you very, very much for your time. And we'd also like to tell you how you can get in touch with our companies from a conversation standpoint, and see if there's something there we can do to help each other. So we really appreciate everybody's attention today, and once again, thank you very much.